All right, here is the review sheet for the test. Test is going to be just like this, so there should be no surprises. So they're telling us here we have two legs. They're asking us to find the hypotenuse. Tells us to round to the nearest tenth, so we have a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Right, here's your hypotenuse, that's your c. Doesn't matter which one's a or b. So 6.4 squared plus 3.5 squared equals c squared. 6.4 is 40.96. 3.5 is 12.25. Right, so my goal is to still get the variable by itself. So I have to add these two together, which was 53.21. And that tells me c squared. Well, 53.21 is not a perfect square. So now in order to cancel the squaring, we have to take the square root. And when you do that and you get c is about 7.3, which is choice D. All right, similar situation here, but this time when I have the ladder is your c, and we're looking for a or b. I'm going to call it a. So a squared plus b squared equals c squared. A squared plus 3 squared equals 25. 9 and 6, 25. But this time, in order to get a squared by itself, I have to cancel the adding 9 by subtracting. So a squared is 616. Take the square root, and you're getting a is about 24.8, which was choice G. In number 13, you had to actually take, and if I want to know how far it is from W to V, this is where we create a right triangle, because then we're looking for the hypotenuse, and you're going to count. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and this is 5. I'm not going to write out the Pythagorean theorem every time just to save some time here, but we have 6 squared plus 5 squared equals c squared. 36 plus 25. 36 and 25 is 61. And now again, I have to take and get rid of that square root, or square by square rooting, and this turns out to be 7.8, which is choice C. Which of the following could be the side measures of a right triangle? They gave them to you out of order, so you have to realize that. So you're trying a squared plus b squared equals c squared. It ends up being choice E. This is A, B, and C. They were written backwards. So 3 squared plus 4 squared equals 5 squared. 9 plus 16 equals 25. And 25 actually does equal 25. All right, next page. Determine the positive solution for each of the following. Check. I'm not going to do the checks, again, just to save some time. But in order to get rid of my squared, I have to square root. Square root of 121 is 11. To get rid of a cube, I have to do the cubed root. And the cubed root of 1,000 is 10. In letter C, I have to get x squared by itself, so I have to cancel the 17 by subtracting. So x squared is equal to, I believe it's 25. Let me just double check that. And then to get rid of the squaring, I have to take the square root. So x is 5. Right, letter D, a little bit more involved. All right, I'm looking for, I don't have any parentheses, but I do have like terms, so I'm going to put those together. So x cubed plus 3x minus 9. X plus 2x is 3x. Now I have to get my variables all on one side, so I'm going to subtract the 3x. And the rows are going to cancel, so we're left with x cubed minus 9 equals negative 1. Cancel your adding. I'm going to finish over here because I wrote too big. So x cubed equals 8. To get rid of the cubed, you have to do the cubed root. So x is 2, because 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. Is a triangle with side length 7, 24, and 25 a right triangle? This is a lot like what we did in the last one. So I have to check. 7 squared plus 24 squared. I want to know, does that really equal 25 squared? 7 squared is 49. 24 is 576. And I want to know, is that really 625? Add those together. 625 equals 625. So yes. Your explanation is because 7 squared plus 24 squared equaled 25 squared. Excuse me, letter B, again, same idea. These are in order, so this has to be your C. So 4 squared plus 11 squared, I want to know, does that really equal 15 squared? 4 squared is 16 plus 121. And this is 137, which does not equal 225. So no, because 4 squared plus 11 squared does not equal 15 squared. Okay, next one. So here's some distances on a graph. So what's the distance between points A and B? So again, I'm going to draw my triangle like I did in an earlier problem. We're going up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going over 2 because I've made a right triangle. So 2 squared plus 5 squared equals C squared, because right up here is your right angle. So 4 plus 25 equals C squared. 29 equals C squared. Take the square root. And you could leave it as this, right? So remember, squaring and square rooting cancel each other out. Or if you put that into your calculator, you could say it's 5.4. Okay, over here, now this one's a little bit more complicated. So we have to fill in -1, 6, 4, 2, and 7, 6. And I want to know, do those form a right triangle? Well, in order to test that, you have to be able to find the distance of all the sides. Well, I know this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here's my right angle. I have to be able to figure out what is this side and what is this side. So this one's actually kind of a lot of work. So over here, this is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 4 squared plus 5 squared equals C squared. 16 plus 25. So the square root of 41 equals C. So this side of your triangle is the square root of 41. I'm going to do the same thing over here in order to figure out this side. So I'm drawing in a triangle to help me. So this is 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3 squared plus 4 squared equals C squared. 9 plus 16, oops. So 25 equals C squared. Take the square root. 5 equals C. So this side is 5. Now I can do the Pythagorean theorem to figure out, do they match to form a right triangle? So I'm going to have 41 squared plus 5 squared, and I want to know, is that really 8 squared? So squaring and square rooting cancel each other out, you're left with 41. 5 squared is 25, and I want to know, does that equal 64? Well, this is 66, which is not 64, so no. Okay, and there's all the work that goes with it. Okay, placing these on, between which two labeled points on the number line would radical 5 be located? And radical 5 is going to be between 2.2 and 2.3. Explain how you know where to place it. I squared all the numbers to see which was closest to 5. So I did 2.2 squared, which is 4.4. No, sorry, 4.48. And I did 2.3, which was 5.29. So 5 has to be in between there. So that's where the square root of 5 would go. How could you improve the accuracy of your estimate? Use more decimal places. Okay, moving on. Write an equation that could be used to determine the length L. We've done this in our note. So if I want the volume, right, volume is side cubed. Well, I know the volume, 216, and the side they want me to use L, so 216 equals L cubed. solve the equation? Well, in order to cancel a cubed, I have to take the cubed root. So the cubed root of 216 is 6, and I'm going to label it centimeters. Cubed root and cube cancel each other out. Okay, next. Now again, this is one where we have to work backwards. So we have the area of the right triangle shown below is 30. We know this side is 5. They want us to find the hypotenuse, but before I can find the hypotenuse, I have to figure out what this side is. And I'm going to use my area formula, because area is 1/2 base times height. I know the area is 30. Half, I know the base is 5. I'm looking for the h. So half of 5 is 2.5. I'm going to divide to get h by itself. So that means that this side over here is really a 12. Well, A, B, I'm looking for C. So we're going to have 12 squared plus 5 squared equals C squared. You guys should be, for the test, writing the Pythagorean theorem out every time and not just skipping that step like I am to save time. So, 13. All right, feet. Sorry, because they did tell us it was feet up here. All right, now we're going to use this one to figure out the other. So to find the perimeter, perimeter is the distance around. So I have 4, 4, and 4. So my perimeter, 12 millimeters. Okay, excuse me, what is the height of the equilateral triangle? So now I have to use, because here's your height, here's your right angle, so there's CA, I'm looking for B. Excuse me. So 2 squared plus B squared equals 4 squared. Subtract 4. My pen stopped writing. Okay, so B squared equals 12. Take the square root. And it said to round your answer to the nearest tenths place. So that should give you 3.5 millimeters. Well, now they want us to go through and figure out what the area is. So it's kind of like the problem above, but this time I'm finding area. So now I know the base of the whole triangle is 4, and the height we just figured out is 3.5. So my area is about 7 millimeters squared. And I did that on the calculator, half times 4 times 3.5. All right, I know it was a little long, but that's going to be your test. Any questions? I guess try and come and see me in the morning or during enrichment. Have a good day, guys.